So today is very, very special, and we're going to talk about something that I believe is very much the purpose of this channel. It's the power of music, the power of rock music. And the band in question today that brings up what we're going to talk about is none other than one of the most badass 80s bands of all time. I'm talking about the band Cinderella, and we're going to be talking about their song and the power it possesses and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, music lovers, especially my rock music lovers. That's right. Welcome back for another one. This one right here, I gotta say, I'm so hyped to do this. It's a little different, but this is a rock channel. We are talking about rock music, but I feel like there was a direction I was tempted to kind of, dabble in, and this is gonna be the first time I actually do it. Now, there was a video I did a couple months back, and one of the commenters had made a comment about the song that I was doing a video about. Now, this song, he started to explain what it meant to him. It kind of gave me a little bit of a backstory on why it meant so much to him, and I thought, that's kind of intriguing, because that is the power and beauty of music. Is as much as we love music and how it can energize us and excite us, and sometimes it's there through the down moments. Well, I had somebody who wrote me a comment, and I asked them to send me a separate email because it was such a powerful story that he told me. And it pertained to Cinderella's Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, one of their most classic songs. Well, one of the most classic ballads from the 80s, from that hair glam metal era. This was one of them. When every band had to have that badass ballad, this is the one that Cinderella had. But we're going to talk about this guy. Now, I encourage anybody out there, after this video's over, if you want to share with me your story and that song, please, I would love to tell it. Now, in this case, if you want to give me your name, I will say your name. If you don't want to have anything to do with it as far as your identity, I'll just use an alias. But this gentleman didn't want to tell me, but this story was powerful. It was beautiful, and I almost, honestly, wanted to cry. But we're going to talk about the power of Cinderella's Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone and this man's story. Let's get into it right now. So to start this thing off, we are going to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. You'll get what I mean in a second. Let's start out in 1986. That is when the band Cinderella released their debut album, Night Songs. Now, the second single off of this album is one of their greatest hits of all time and one of the best hits of the 80s as far as rock and roll music from that genre. It was the song Nobody's Fool. Now, everybody knows the song. It is a hard-hitting, badass rock song. Plain and simple. That song is what really set the whole wheels in motion for this story. But we're going to step back to 1983. That is when Jack, who was 16 years old at the time, met his sophomore year a young lady named Sally. Now, Sally, this was her first year attending that high school. She had moved from another state. I'm not going to tell you states. I'm not going to tell you venues. And I'm not going to tell you the video in question that spawned this whole thing, because they did not want me to have anything to do with their identity being out, which is fine. But he was a sophomore in 1983 when Sally moved to this state. She came in as a sophomore, new student. He said she came in strong, full of confidence, full of this amazing aura, always smiling, not shy at all. And he said they hit it off right off the bat. She always had the tight jeans. She had the big hair, the jelly bracelets, the very dingy, faded jean jacket that she wore every day. He said literally she wore it every day. And she wore it every day all the way through high school. These two hit it off their sophomore year, and literally they started dating literally the moment they met. And it lasted all the way through the rest of high school. Now, this was 1983. 1986 was their first year out of high school. They were still dating. And that was the first time while riding around in his Mustang that they heard the song Nobody's Fool by Cinderella. They said they absolutely loved it. I mean, she had a big patch of white snake on her shoulder of this. He said she instantly ripped it off, and they went and bought a new patch of Cinderella when they heard this song. And they were instantly hooked. They were big fans of Cinderella right off the bat. And then, well, obviously, what comes next but them getting to go see Cinderella the next year in 1987 while they were opening for Bon Jovi on their Slippery When Wet tour. He said it was that moment that he knew he wanted to be with her for the rest of his life. And that was the night in 1987 at a Cinderella and Bon Jovi concert that he proposed to her, and she said yes. Now, as Jack tells the story, it was in February of 1988 when the two were married. They tied the knot. They were now husband and wife. And it would be 5 months later, in July of '88, when Cinderella would release their sophomore album, Long Cold Winter. Their lead single, Gypsy Road, was a fantastic song, another one of their amazing songs on their catalog. But it was their second single, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, that they dubbed their song. As soon as they heard it on the radio for the first time, they said they were instantly hooked. You know, everybody was looking for that next ballad by the next big hair glam metal band. Their band being Cinderella, when they finally dropped that song, they said, this is the best ballad of the 80s, and this is our song. Now, they dubbed it their song, but in Jack's words, he said he never really understood what them labeling it their song meant until 2 years later. And that's what we'll talk about right now. In the summer of 1989, Jack and Sally found out that she was pregnant. She was pregnant with what would be their first child. Now, she gave birth in early 1990 to their first child, their daughter. And this was, I'm a parent, this is one of the most exciting moments ever. Well, any children, but your first child is special. It's something new, it's something different. It's the first time you're experiencing that feeling. And the way Jack described it, I know exactly how it feels. It was the most amazing thing in the world. It's like you're looking at a little present from God. It's amazing. He said it was no different from him. He saw his baby girl instantly in love. And every time he looked at Sally after that, he loved her even more because he knew he gave him the most amazing gift you can give somebody, a child. Now, that was all great. But it wasn't but 2 months later, on a follow-up visit, that Sally found out she had a tumor. Now, this tumor ended up being cancerous, and she got diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, Jack said this is one of those cases, and it was pretty bad. It flared up, and it progressed very rapidly. Because it was in early 1991, 7 months after she was diagnosed. She was doing heavy doses of chemo treatment. He said it didn't last that long. It was early 1991. By the summer of 1991, she couldn't hold on anymore. And Sally ended up passing away. Their daughter was 1.5 years old. And Jack said, and I quote, "It was the most horrific day of my life." End quote. That was the love of his life. He said in that moment when she was gone and he sat there with her for hours in the room, he couldn't speak, he couldn't think. He had a flood of emotions going through his body, and I can only imagine what he was going through. You know, that's cancer's, fuck cancer. It's horrible. It's unexpected most of the time, like it was in Jack and Sally's case. And when you do find out, you know, is it something that can be cured? Can you get rid of it? How far along are you? And even if you aren't that far along, how fast is it just going to progress and progress to where there's nothing you can do about it? That's what happened in Sally's case. It progressed so rapidly there was nothing they could do about it. They tried. He said through that whole process, it was like the first time he saw her in 1983. She kept smiling. She kept a positive attitude. And she was just a ray of light. He said up until that final moment with her. He said he couldn't believe she was so strong. And honestly, I can't believe it either. It's amazing to know that, well, it's amazing to know what the possible end is going to be. But why not keep that smile and be positive? It's crazy. Jack tells it the first night that he went home with his baby girl, with his wife no longer with him. It was just him and her. He said he sat with her on their rocking chair and he put on Cinderella's Don't Know What You Got. He said he did this every night for at least a month or two, he said. And he said every night it was the same thing. He put the song on, he listened to it until he fell asleep, holding his daughter and crying, but holding in any noise, making sure he didn't make a sound for his daughter as he rocked her. Just letting the tears roll down his face. I mean, Jesus. Man, that's hearing this made me realize these are the kind of things you have to tell. That's the power of music. He knew that was their song. And honestly, I kind of feel like I would do something very similar. Hopefully that never happens. But it was their song. He put it on. Every night. Listen to it. Just let the tears flow. And he said he knew as soon as he sat down every night with his daughter and put that song on, he knew it was going to happen. He wanted it to happen. And in a way, in a weird way, it probably helps. So I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, fast forward. Jack sends me this story about 2 months ago, and I had to, I didn't push, I don't want to say push it off the side is a disrespectful way. I was like, okay, do I tell this or how do I tell? Will people be intrigued? And I say, I don't care if people are. Those that watch, and I hope you do, this is a beautiful example of the power of music. And it's a beautiful story. You meet your high school sweetheart. You fall in love almost instantly. You form this bond with one of the most popular bands of that time. A bond that lasts. And your song, y'all song together is by this band, one of their biggest hits of all time. And then something tragic like that happens. And that's what Jack meant when he said he didn't realize what our song meant until this happened. And man, that's the beauty of music, man. That's the power of music. He said he's 50, he said he's about to be 57 this year. He said he still puts that song on even though he's been remarried. He has 2 other kids. So he has a total of 3 kids, a new wife. He says he loves his family, loves his wife. But he said every once in a while he'll still go throw on Cinderella. Don't know what you got. And it brings back these feelings and emotions that even though there's sadness in there, he said he loves getting that feeling because it brings back some awesome memories. And man, that's powerful. Real powerful. After hearing and sharing Jack's story and having a song that we all know very well involved in it, one of the greatest hits from the 80s from one of the most badass hair and glam metal bands of that time, even makes it hit home more, feel like it's something that we can all relate to. And it also makes me realize I got a lot of those stories myself, but I know a lot of you out there do as well. So if you like Jack, if you got a story, a rock song that means so much to you with an awesome story behind it, please share with me in the comment section. We can reach out to each other, do a separate maybe email, and maybe go over it. Give me more details if you want me to tell your story. And if you want me to share your name, then I will. But if you want to be like Jack, we can call you something like Samson or Ralph, whatever. It's up to you. But I think this is a powerful story. And to know that Cinderella, the guys in the band, Tom Kiefer and the rest of the guys, probably have no idea how much this song means to somebody like Jack in his history. It's amazing. That's the power of these guys forming that band and creating this music. That's what it means to people. That's why I believe music's so beautiful. Rock music is number 1 though. But anyway, please, in the comment section, let me know. I'd love to do more of these. And in fact, I will do more of these. But I need to know. What's your story? What's the song? And I'll be glad to tell it. Till next time, take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, your family. We never know what tomorrow holds. We never know which days will last. Make the best of what we got. Enjoy the things around us. And let the ones we love know that we love them. Till next time, take care of yourself. I'm out.